Hi, my name is Camille. I'm 18. Have you ever had a feeling that your teacher was obsessed with you and did not leave you alone? No, not my previous teacher, thank God. He was an older teacher whom I drove crazy, and he quit. The other one who came to replace him was the one fawning over me. Watch the video to the end and find out what I did with the teacher who turned out to be my creepy fam. I went to school, but I often skipped classes. I would only think about my longboard. It's better to ride through the city streets with the wind in my face than to sit at school. Plus, I really wanted to participate in the summer competition, and I spent all my time training in the skate park until my parents intervened. They gave me an ultimatum. They said that if I finished this year with low grades, I could forget about the competition, and that I had to go to school. School was very depressing, and so I tried to have as much fun as I could. I trolled teachers and longboarded through the halls. The previous teacher couldn't stand it anymore after my prank, freaked out and quit. He also threatened that he would be avenged, and I would be thrown out of school. I don't scare easily. Stay at home, Grandpa, if you're so nervous. He was replaced by a new teacher, whose name was Ed. He was 22 and a surfer. Can you imagine how tanned and athletic he was? All the girls in the class were drooling over him. I didn't care. But Ed would get it from me too. Have you ever played a prank on your teachers? Tell us how exactly. I gave the new teacher such a warm welcome that we expected him to run away from us on the first day. But his reaction to my pranks was very unexpected. I sawed off the leg of his chair, and as soon as he sat down, he fell with a crash to the floor. The whole class was laughing. The teacher was confused, but not angry. Huh? But I had one more tough prank which would definitely push the teacher over the edge. While he wasn't looking, I picked up his chocolate bar from the table, opened the package, smeared it with chili pepper, and closed it again. Now someone's going to be hot. When he took a bite, he turned red, coughed, and his eyes rolled out. The teacher sat in the toilet for almost the entire lesson. The whole class was laughing their guts out. I was sure he would snap, like, "Who did it? What the hell?" and so on. But the teacher came back to the classroom and continued the lesson as if nothing happened. Man, he was so strange. Cool as a cucumber. Suddenly, at the end of the lesson, he asked me to stay behind. Now I was in trouble. Why would he leave me? To find out how I was doing? But I would have never guessed what he wanted to talk to me about. Instead of accusing me, the teacher asked if I really longboarded. Let's say I do, so what? And then I just freaked out. He asked me to teach him how to longboard. Sure, this is just what I needed. I had to go to this frickin' school and find time to prepare for the summer competition, where there were a lot of strong competitors. Girls generally have a harder time longboarding than boys. Do you know what I answered him? I said, I didn't have time, and the teacher let me go. Afterwards, I rushed to the skate park. My friends weren't there. There were just some strange dudes skating. I was the only girl there, and everyone looked at me. I did a bad ollie and landed on my bum. The boys started laughing loudly, and one guy yelled at me to get out of here and let the normal people skate. What an asshole. Then a familiar voice came from behind, and whose do you think it was? It was Ed. Was he following me? He told the boys that it was not encouraging to laugh at the mistakes and falls of others. The dudes did not dare to contradict him. He was older and stronger. They moved away. Ed bailed me out. So I suggested we train together so I wouldn't be in his debt. So we started longboarding after school. So what? While I was showing him the technique, I repeated the basics for myself, just in time for the summer competition. Ed was quick at learning. After a month of training, we even moved on to more complicated things. We filmed each other and then sorted out the mistakes. It was more fun to train together. Who would have thought that I and the new teacher would become friends? During the breaks, we were chatting about new tricks. My classmates asked me if we were dating. Then they started their stupid rumors. Have you ever been a victim of school gossip? Did they say something nasty about you behind your back? We kind of hung out a lot, but we just longboarded. The girls hinted that the teacher was clearly hitting on me. What nonsense! And after one incident, I stopped going to school completely. Someone posted a photo of us from the skate park on a public school page, and it was a complete disaster. All his followers went nuts. Threats and accusations that I was an easy girl were sent to my private inbox. Who took this photo, and how did it get on the internet? Only Ed and I knew about our training. Ed said right away that he wasn't involved, but I didn't trust him anymore. I gave up on school, and Ed started calling me, texting me, like we needed to talk. Did he really hit on me? I started looking him up on social networks, and I saw something. There was a photo of the previous teacher with the caption, "Beloved father." Was he the son of that old man who couldn't stand me and had promised that I'd be thrown out of school? Did the old teacher send his son to take revenge? Oh man! Ed must have smarmed his way into my confidence so that I was kicked out of school. I can't get expelled on the eve of the competition. My parents would ruin everything for me. I was thinking of how to get rid of Ed. And Eureka! The best defense is offense. Now hold on. I had an answer to their insidious plan. I went back to school and filed a complaint with the principal about Ed. And do you know what I wrote? You'll never guess. In short, I said that he was harassing me, enticing me into a relationship, and all that. Now he'll be kicked out. But that was a big mistake. I didn't have the best reputation at school. I was kind of a bad girl, and I'd already gotten one teacher fired, so the principal didn't like me. He had set up a face-to-face meeting with Ed and me. Principal asked Ed if he was really bothering me, and if this statement was just another one of my antics. It would be my last, since he had been looking for an excuse to expel me for a long time. What a mess. My fate depended on Ed's answer. If he went into denial, then I would be a goner, and I would not be allowed to go to the competition. And he would do it to avenge his dad. But man, Ed seemed like a normal dude. Maybe he'd have a conscience and wouldn't set me up. He was silent the whole time. Damn, what was he going to say? Was he thinking about the best way to ruin me? And then Ed started saying that he only came to the school because of his father. That's it, I'm finished! And then Ed said that his father had always been an impatient, irritable, overly strict man, and that his whole family had suffered from it. And these were not the best qualities for a teacher. So it was not surprising that his father left the profession. Ed replaced him to correct his father's mistakes. What was he talking about? I didn't understand. Ed said that he wanted to be friends with me, to find a common language that his father did not find. What was he getting at? Like, he wanted to protect himself? Ed was making excuses, like I hadn't understood what he was trying to communicate quite right. So I took it all for harassment. Well, everything became clear. He was going to badmouth me. I was prepared for anything, except what he said next. This misunderstanding and my complaint were solely his fault, and I couldn't be expelled. I was not involved, and I didn't do anything wrong. This was the last thing I expected to hear, but I was relieved. Whew! The principal nailed it. After that, he explained to me that I was kind of wrong about the teacher, and thanked Ed that he had a flexible approach to students. There was no reason to expel me. Our meeting ended up without loss. Pam pam! I apologized to Ed, and we went out for coffee. He said he found out who posted the photo. It was his father. He secretly took a photo of us and posted it online to annoy both of us. Ed and I laughed. The leopard cannot change his spots. I finished my studies with good grades and went to the summer longboarding competition. It was awesome. I no longer annoy others with my antics because there are good people among them, and even they have limited patience. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new stories.